And the concept that we're going to talk about today is now is data binding. So what is it? Very simple. It helps to connect JS and your HTML. Okay, yeah, or helps to communicate. Rather, I'll put it that way. What do you mean by that, Rajesh? Communicate JS and HTML. Yeah. So there are two types of data binding. One is property binding. Okay. The other one is event binding. Okay, so don't worry too much about the terms. Okay, yeah. So when you implement, right, it becomes so simple. Yeah. So by definition, simple definition, it tells you to it helps you to communicate JavaScript and HTML, isn't it? Yeah. So the question is, say I have a property in my JS class. Okay, how do I access property value in HTML and display? Okay, similarly, okay, say I have a JS code written, okay, to show a value on the page, okay, when a button is clicked. Okay, let's say we have two scenarios in front of us. Okay, so the first one, I have a property in my JavaScript class. I'll go to our JavaScript file. I'll close this, close this, close this, close this. I'll take our opportunity close date counter. Okay, yeah. I will first go to the config file. First things first, I want to expose this. Okay, number two, I'll set the targets. Okay, so for now, I'm enabling this component to be used either in record page or app page or home page. Okay, yeah. I'll save this one. I'll go to the counter. Okay, JavaScript file, and what I'm gonna do is, so this is a simple class, correct? At the end of the day, if you knock out everything right here, this is a simple JavaScript class, and we are not new to JavaScript class, correct? So we did create JavaScript classes, correct? We did create this user info class. These are the properties, correct? There is a constructor, there is a method. We are aware how to, how a JavaScript class looks like. I'm gonna do the same. Okay, I'll bring all the other bells and whistles. Let's introduce properties. Okay, properties. So I'll have opportunity name, as a property. That's it. Okay, as a property. Now, um, let's say opportunity name. I'll just say this is about Salesforce implementation. Huh? Salesforce. Okay, to kila kila. So Salesforce implementation, yeah. So I just wanted to show that in the HTML. Okay, so I want a p tag, okay, a paragraph tag, because it's pure HTML, right? So how do I show this? So show opportunity name value. Okay, yeah. So this is the concept of data binding. All you have to do is, Salesforce made your life so easy, so easy. So Salesforce says that use curly brace. Okay, yeah, using curly brace, that's all. Open and close curly brace, just mention the name of the property. That's it. Okay, you will just start seeing the value right here. So tomorrow when you change the value of this property, right, it will automatically reflect right here. We will come to that We'll come to that. Okay. So I did save all the files. Okay. Control S. Now I'll right click and then deploy. So we created a simple component to learn the data binding concept, right? And then we added a property in the class, and I'm accessing the property using this curly brace. Now let's see what happens. Close this one. I'll go back to the org. Okay. And let's take this application page, Sonali was requested, right? So we have this application page. I'll just add that component and then see the output. Okay. So I'll go to this settings edit page. So let's close this. I see opportunity close date counter. Yeah, close date counter. That's the name of my file, right? Opportunity close date counter. Perfect. I'll drag and then drop it right here. There is something appearing right here. Let's save this and then go back and then see the difference. I will go back now. I can see Salesforce implementation appearing. Correct? Yeah. This is the concept of data binding. So if you have something in your, if you have something in your, what do you call JavaScript, and then you want to enable that or make that available in your HTML file to access, all you have to do is use curly brace. That's it. Okay. This is what you call property binding. Okay. What does this event binding mean? Okay. So what I'll do is, as our use case says that, right? I have a JS code written to show a value on the page when a button is clicked. I need a button certainly, right? So in the HTML, I'm going to add a button. Okay, I can use button. Salesforce, simple button. I can do that. Okay, yeah. So I can just say click me. It will still work. The basic, HTML will still work. What I can do is I can just say on click. Okay, on click, I want to make a call to a JavaScript function. Let me write a JavaScript function. Okay, let me write a function inside this class. Okay, so I'm gonna say show opportunity name. Okay, so again, remember this is same as what we did earlier. It's not something new. We did create a class earlier, correct? A simple JavaScript class. I'll bring this first so that you can able to understand this better. Hello, come on. Yeah. Remember the show user info, correct? They were properties. We did write a method, and then it was just simply accessing the properties. This dot sc dot name, correct? Yeah, that's the same thing I'm gonna do it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say this dot opportunity name equal to Salesforce implementation. I'll just say updated. Okay, so this is the original name. Okay, but when I click on this button, okay, click me to change opportunity name. Okay, yeah, so when you click on the button, I want this particular method to get called. Okay, so let's copy that, and the way how you call is just the same. Use a curly brace, just call out the name of the function. That's all it is. Okay, and this is what you call event binding. Why do I say it's an event binding? Events are nothing but actions that user can perform. That user can perform. Um, so in this case, this particular method gets called only when I click on the button, isn't it? Yeah. So it's an action performed by the user. Okay, that's why it is called event. And the entire JavaScript works that way. When you perform an action, like click a button, take your cursor over to a mouse, or move the cursor, double click, all these are actions or events. So when that event happens, I want a certain piece of code to run. Okay, so in this case, when the button is clicked, I want this method to get called, and which in turn execute this. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, now what I did is I simply right changed the name. That's what I did. Correct? Yeah. So I'll save this file. Let's go back to the oh no, before we go back to the org, let's right click and then deploy. I made a change, right? So let's try this. Okay, do I get a success message? Yes, I did get a success message. Let me close this. Let me also close this. I'll go back now to the org. Let's refresh. I should be seeing a button, right? Let's see that. If you don't see the button, even though you enable the debug mode, what is the other workaround? Right click, go to the inspect mode. Again, in this refresh button, right click, you will just see additional options. Typically, you don't see that, but when you are in inspect mode, when you right click, you get this option, empty cache and reload. So this will reload all the JavaScripts, HTML, everything. Okay, let's wait for this to complete. And now you are seeing this one, correct? Yeah. So I know this button is not very appealing aesthetically, right? Yeah, it's not matching with Salesforce theme. In Salesforce, right, a button looks very nice, isn't it? But anyway, this is a normal HTML button, but let's say whether it gets things done. When I click, it just changed the opportunity name, correct? Perfect. I'll try one more time. I'll refresh this page. Click here, data update. Perfect, isn't it? So key takeaway, key takeaway. So the concept of data binding or the implementation of data binding is fairly simple, as you have all seen, right? Yeah. So we just use this. We use this curly brace and then made a call to a property, and then we just use the same and then made a call to a function. Correct. But behind the scenes, Salesforce does a lot of things for you. Okay. Salesforce says that. Okay. So every property in a class is trackable. Okay, even today you might see folks using or when they write LWC code, right, they prefix this property with at the rate track. Okay, and then they say that I want to get this track decorated downloaded. Okay, this is also okay in Salesforce Lightning Web Component, but it's an optional one, not really required. When LWC right came into existence few years ago, so that's when we used to write code like this. But now automatically every property in Salesforce class in our LWC class is trackable. What does it really mean trackable? Yeah, so it means when the property value changes anywhere in the code. So in this case, when I click the button, the property value changes, correct? So when the property value changes, Salesforce will automatically reload this entire component on the page. When I click this button, okay, let me just show this. When I click this button, so you don't see that refresh, as in you don't see that the component refreshed in the screen, but this component did reload because the property is tracked. Okay, and the property value is changed. When the property value is changed, automatically it should show the latest value, right? How is it happening? Because the component is getting refreshed. You don't see the difference, but that is what is happening behind the scenes, and that is because every property value is being tracked. And the moment Salesforce finds that there is a change in the property value, re-render the entire component. Okay, re-render the entire component. Okay, so no, Rajesh, I'm not really convinced. Why do you say this is re-rendering everything, right? Yeah, this is where I'm going to use life cycle hooks. Okay, the life cycle, the LWC life cycle, right, to prove that really there is some re-rendering happens. Okay, so today when we started this custom element, we did talk about this connected callback, correct? connected callback, disconnected callback. Right? I said all these are life cycle hooks, right? Basically system functions. Okay. Something that whether you like it or not will run. Okay. If you write some piece of code, it will run. If you don't write, it will just ignore. Okay. So look at the definition. So there is a life cycle hook, or there is a life cycle method called connected callback that that executes whenever this component is added into your HTML. Similarly, when it goes away, this gets called. So let me do that in our code. Okay. So I'm going to add life cycle hooks or methods. Okay. Connected callback. Let us say let's use this console.dlog. Okay. Yeah. Connected component is connected. Okay. Yeah. Let's use disconnected callback. Okay. Console.component is disconnected. There is one more lifecycle loop called rendered callback. Okay, this is what we predominantly use. These three. Okay, component is rendered. Okay, good. I'll right click. I'll format this document first. Good. Okay, so adding lifecycle hooks. Okay, so let's see what happens when this now when we run this code, right? Let's see what happens. Okay, first let's deploy this. Right click, deploy. Did it deploy? Okay, I'll have a sip of water, please. All right. So now let's go back and then investigate opening. Yeah, to understand this trackable nature. Yeah. So let me refresh this page. Okay. I'll right click. I'll go to inspect mode. Um, okay. I'll go to console. Okay. Too many things. Clear everything. Not all levels. Show me info warnings. No, I don't need warnings. Errors. Yes, I really want to see errors. Okay. Let me clear this cache and then reload. So now this is fine. Let me right click. Let me go to inspect. Okay. Okay, I think we started seeing some logs, right? Collected. Component is connected, component is rendered, right? So which means the code that we have written, it's actually, called, correct? Did I explicitly call these methods connected callback, disconnected callback, rendered callback? No, isn't it? At least this one, show opportunity name, I'm explicitly calling, this will get called only when the opportunity when the button is clicked. But these methods are automatically called, correct? And that's why it is called life cycle. Okay, when a class code is running, when this particular component is added to a page, and when the browser shows this component, right, it will certainly execute all these JavaScripts, right? And especially when it finds this life cycle methods, it will immediately start executing the code that is written inside. So in this case, this got called first. Boss, where are you? Ah, connected, rendered, correct? And the disconnected is not called because this gets called when you move away from this page. When you go to some other page and you click on campaign or any other tab, the disconnected gets called. Okay. So now I'll clear everything. Okay. I'm gonna click on this button. So when the button is clicked, it will change the name, right? Just see what happens. You can just see this, right? This is what I was just saying. Okay, this component is the code in the component is again it's getting called. Okay, when I click on this button, so when this when this particular method is called, this entire component is rendered again. Okay, yeah. So you don't find visibly. Okay, you don't find that visibly on the on the page. Okay, but behind the scenes, the render happens again. So re-renders. Okay, so it happens whenever there is a change in the property value. Okay, whenever there is a change in the property value. Okay, all these are important when you build some complex components. Sometimes you find that, hey, why is my code not working, why is it executing multiple times, etc. So that time the answer lies in this life cycle hooks. Okay, we will apply some conditions while we implement, right? Apply some conditions to bypass certain code during re-render. Okay, all such gimmicks we will do it. Okay, yeah, all right. Does it re-render? Yes, it is re-render. Okay, it's a specific lifecycle hook introduced in Lightning Web Component. In your plain JavaScript, you will just see render, but in Lightning Web Component, you will just see re-render. Okay, but maybe the other way around. Sorry. Yeah, rendered component. Uh, Objects and arrays, yes, we will talk because we will be building a Lightning Web component. For that purpose, you need knowledge about objects and arrays. Um, when to use constructor and connected callback. Okay. Yeah, even the constructor gets called every time. Okay. Constructor gets called every time. Okay, when the class is in okay, I'll put a some, I'll put a uh, add this. Okay, and then C console.log. Right. Constructor call this is object. Okay, let's keep this as well. Okay, good. We'll come back and then answer, take the questions in 15 minutes. Okay, so we did now, talked about data binding concept. Now, the next time when you build a Lightning component, you will know how to access your JavaScript properties back in the HTML and then show that in the screen, correct? What I'm going to do is, instead of this button, I'm gonna use Salesforce, component, because this button is not aesthetically, appealing for me. Correct. So what I'll do, I'll go to the gallery. Okay, and I'll go to the buttons. Okay, and this time, um, I'll refresh this page just to see all the available options. Okay, so I have this basic button. Basic buttons. There is something called disable buttons, grayed out and aren't clicked. Okay, it is also possible. All you have to do is just say disable. That's all it is. In this, when you add it, right, you can just add disable. That's all it is. Okay. What I'll do is I want to add buttons with icons. Okay. Think about it. If you want to build something like this, okay, something like this, um, using plain JavaScript HTML, technically possible. Technically possible. I can use CSS. I can use some icons downloaded. I can use JavaScript to get that done for me. But why do I have to write a lot of code when I have a component, web component, or a custom element readily giving me that option? Yeah. So let me try this. I'll copy this. Okay, variant. I'll use. Okay, I'll bring that to the code. Okay, then we'll make some tweaks. Okay, so first things first, let's change one after the other. Okay, so the variant, I'm not going to keep it as base. Okay, because it gives me a plain button, right? Let me make it. What is the third one? It says brand, isn't it? So I'll take brand. Okay, BRAND. Label, I'll just say change opportunity name. Okay. Title, it's like when you take your cursor over to the button, there should be a tooltip. That's what it is. Click to change opportunity name. Okay. Icon. This is where the interesting topic of SLDS come to the play. Okay. I'll keep it as is for now. Let's see the output, then come back and then talk more about it. Okay, these two we'll talk about it. Yeah. So now let's see what happens. What I want to do is I wanted to call the same method on click data binding concept, right? I want to call or I want to talk to the JavaScript and then say that this is the code that should be executed. Okay, save this file. Okay, control S. Did I save all the files? Yes, save all is disabled. All files, done. So now let me right click and then deploy the code. Super. Code has just been deployed. And let's go to the org. This is the water playground. Yeah, let's refresh. I should see the new button. Okay, something is wrong. Must call super constructor. See, I added this constructor and that's what causing this problem. Okay, and this is a typical thing that happens in Salesforce. Very simple, not in Salesforce, in JavaScript. Okay, so when you have a class in JavaScript, okay, this is a JavaScript concept. When you have a class that inherits another class, okay, and when you have a constructor in your child class, always you have to call super. Okay, it is more like, right, you are waking up and then get your base class ready. Okay, yeah, so we have to do everything in JavaScript step by step. That is the reason it didn't work. Okay, I made a change. Now I right click this deploy. Okay, it's a pure JavaScript concept, nothing to do with Lightning Web Component. Okay, I'll close this now. I'll just go and then refresh this page. And this one looks nasty, right? This error, correct? So next session when we connect, I'll show you how to capture the errors and then show it in a nice and user friendly way. Okay, let's not show some system errors to the user. We'll capture, we'll show a small pop-up and then showcase that, hey, this is the error happened, why didn't you talk to the administrator to get things corrected. Yeah. Anyways, now we got this new button. Now you can just see this, right, the difference between the traditional button versus the lightning button, correct? Yeah. So Salesforce, now you can really appreciate Salesforce team, correct, for giving us, a button something like this, correct? Guys, I would have written a lot of code, correct? Now that has been saved because I'm reusing Salesforce's own web components or custom elements, correct? Super. Let's see whether this is working or not. I'll click. I'm seeing the change in the name of the opportunity. Pretty cool, correct? So I'll go back to the code. I will knock this off, this old button. Okay, old button. So now we decided to learn these two, isn't it? This icon name and also the CSS, correct? Yeah. So I didn't do anything, but all of a sudden I'm just seeing an icon, present in the button, correct? How is it possible? And this is where Salesforce, gives you another helper. Okay, yeah, yes, so analytical lightning button. So this is where Salesforce is helping you with additional options when it comes to styling your pages. Okay, because not everybody likes this plain button, right? Especially with all the fancy websites, fancy applications, that we live with. Yeah, Insta, Facebook, all fancy websites, fancy applications, right? Styling plays a major role. Correct. If you don't find a page or a website appealing, right, you won't even go to that page. But that's not the case, a couple of decades ago. Okay, so what are options that Salesforce gives you to style your pages? And this is where the option of SLDS come into the play. Okay, just bookmark this page as well. Okay, I'll give you the link. Lightning design system, very powerful, very powerful. So just bookmark this, then we will talk about it. Okay, bookmark. Okay, so this is Salesforce's CSS framework. Okay, how we set the Salesforce Lightning, right, is a Salesforce Lightning web component is a what do you call JavaScript framework, like it's a CSS framework. Okay, yeah. So we do have lot of CSS frameworks, out there in the market today. One of the famous one is Bootstrap, something that is very widely used across many website development. Okay, so you can find a lot of websites developed using Bootstrap. Okay, so it gives you the CSS classes. Okay, yeah. So styles, basically what color the button should look like, what font the button should look like. Okay, so this is these sets, this buttons, everything, right? So everything is built using Bootstrap. Okay, so and if you want to know how does this Bootstrap CSS framework um, code will look like, right? I'll show you that as well. Okay, so you get a better idea. CDN link. And let's go there. It's just a file at the end of the day. Okay. Okay, I want this. Let me open this guy. Okay, let me open the minified version. Okay, you will just see a very big code. Okay, nothing is readable, right? This is the minified version, but I'll just knock this minified one. This is the actual version. Okay, the reason minified versus the original version, the minified version reduces the size of the file. That helps to download the file faster in the browser. That in turn increases the performance of your website overall. Okay, so you can just see this, right? Lot of CSS codes written by the Bootstrap team. Correct? Yeah. So this helps you to design your page, in a much elegant and aesthetic way. Okay, so just like this, I think this is a product from Twitter. Okay, by the way. So just like this, Salesforce did create a CSS framework, their own CSS framework, and today this entire product, whatever you see, right? Yeah, let's take this page. This page is actually using SLDS, Salesforce Lightning Design System CSS, and that's the reason you see consistent font size, consistent font text, consistent font colors. Okay, if you don't believe me, okay, you can pick any page in Salesforce. Right click, go to inspect. This is a simple what debug mode page, right? You will find a lot of SLDS references. You can just see this SLDS template and SLDS page editor. Okay, and let's see what CSS is applied for this one. There is something called breadcrumb. Okay, what else applied right here? SLDS brand something, a lot of CSS classes you are seeing, correct? So the entire Salesforce product is using SLDS, okay, to style the pages, okay, to give the consistent coloring, to give the consistent font size, everything. Okay, that is what we are going to use in LWC as well. Okay, LWC as well. LWC. So I'll go right here. Okay, so this lighting design system comes with a rich set of icons as well. So before I do that, just like this CSS, right? This Bootstrap, I will show you the code, the CSS code as well. Everything is open source. You can just take it and then modify. Okay, that is it. Oh, it's still loading. Okay. Yeah, I'll copy this one. I'll go right here. Let's not use the manual version. Let's use the actual version. You can just 10 minutes. Huh? You can just see this, right? This entire code is written by the Salesforce team, and then they made it available for us to use. Okay, so um, whatever where is it? This yes, say this the styles, right? Whatever you are seeing right here, the code is already there here. You can find this, right? The code is already there. This is how the page is powered up, and you are seeing this nice UI, everything. Okay, so we are going to use the same CSS when you build lighting web component. By default it is there. Okay, yeah. So by default it is there. You will you can able to make some tweaks. Okay, you can able to do the tweaks, etc. Okay, so we'll quickly see this SLDS in the next 4 minutes, and then I'll open up for questions, and also I'll try to answer all these questions. And the next week we have two more sessions, right? So that time we will go deep into this LWC. We will learn how to access Salesforce data, how to make DB calls, how to make API calls to receive data from external systems, all such other concepts that you should know, okay, before you start with your development. We will cover in the next 2 sessions, okay, because I would like everyone to get the fundamentals strong, okay. Yeah, anyways, so let's go back here. Let's close this guy, close this, go back. Yeah, this is the one, right? As I said, by default the entire Salesforce system is using SLDS. So that is the reason when you add an icon name, okay, say utility.download, all of a sudden the icon starts appearing, correct? So where did this icon came from, where did this icon come from, right? So in this lighting design system you have an icon section. If you go here, you will find a plenty of icons. The one that we are referring in our code is download, right? Yeah. So there are all the icons are categorized into four categories, are categorized into four groups: utility, doc type, standard, and action. So under utility, if I go and then look at the icons, okay, there is this download. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, you can just see this, right? This is the icon we are referring in our code. Utility download. So we need to mention the category name first, then the name of the icon download. So if I want to change the icon to something else, for example, um, I want to change this to, let's pick something else. Edit GPT. Copy that, put it right here. You don't have to do anything. Automatically, it will start referring that icon. I'll show you that. Right click, save, and then deploy. Okay. I'll go back to the org. Okay, it is right under the download icon, right? Let's refresh this. You can just see the icon changed, isn't it? Yeah, the edit GPT icon. Why? Because this entire Salesforce org is actually using SLDS system. Okay, it has a reference already. Okay, and now we simply asked our Salesforce to go and then use your own SLDS system. Go and then find an icon for me under the category utility, and this is the name of the icon. Okay, that's how easy it is. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. So the next time, whenever you want to look for some icons to add or beautify your page, right? Don't go anywhere. Just use our SLDS. Okay, there is a rich set of icons, rich set of icons, and Salesforce keeps adding icons. Okay, keeps adding icons so which you can use it. Okay, so you can find colored icons as well right below. Okay, yeah. So make use of it. Number one. Number two, about this class. Okay, yeah, I showed you that CSS file, right? That CSS file contains a lot of CSS classes, isn't it? So you can find that information right in this LDS. Okay, so I'll copy this now. Okay, I'll go back to this one. You will find this right here. If you just do a search, you will find a lot of things right here. Okay, my preferred way, or this is what I actually do, I leave that to Google. I'll say Google, if I just enter this, Google takes me directly to the page where I can just find information about that particular class, what it does, everything, right? Here it is. So basically this SLDS margin, okay, if you just, dissect this, we are using SLDS, correct? So all the SLDS, all the classes that you take it from the lighting design system starts with SLDS. Okay, SLDS. Then what is it that you want to do? I want to just change the margin. That M stands for margin. You can see this, right? It's margin. Okay, and you will find how to use it. This is what we have used. -M. So basically, you are just altering the margin. So in this case, I said margin, the left margin should be moved a bit. Okay, X small. Okay, if you just take a look right here, this is what I'm using. You can just not, this is top right. Let's come down, come down, come down, left small. This is what I'm using. You can just see this, right? If this is the margin, the dotted line, this class will move the element a bit to the right. And that is precisely what has happened in the, if you look at this, you can just see there is a gap, right? This is the margin and this is moved a bit. Okay, so to understand this better, okay, what I would like to do is I just wanted to make it extra large. Okay, I'll copy this, or I'll go here right and then change this right away. Save. Okay, let's see whether this is getting reflected or not. Yeah, let's right click, deploy. Let's go back to the org. Deployment is completed. Let's refresh this page. You are seeing you are seeing a big margin left, correct? Because I changed that to large. So this is how easy it is to to elements or use SLDS to bring some icons to position elements. So the next component that we will build, okay, we will be building this component, two components in the next session. Okay, so you will understand a lot of things. You can just see this, right? Opportunity close deadline timer. You can just see the clock is ticking. So basically, based on the opportunity close date, which is what, August 30th, I believe. August, January, yeah, August 30th. So from today, there is a 116 days left, okay, to close this, opportunity. So we will build this timer. You can just see there is a background and a different color is given and the clock is ticking, right? We will do everything in the next session. Okay, we'll apply SLDS class, we will write a lot of JavaScript code, okay, etc, etc. And also we will build something like this. Okay, and this is mobile friendly. Okay, if I just watch this contact roles, right, it will align, according to the mobile device size. Okay, so that's certainly an Apex class used, okay, to bring the contact roles. Okay, so we have contact roles assigned to the opportunity. We will make a call to an from LWC, make a call to a Salesforce data, bring the list of contact roles. Let's design it this way. Okay, so we will do that in the next session. I think we have covered the fundamentals. Okay, yeah, and when we build this, the spacing, everything you are seeing, right, you will use SLDS to ensure the spacing is properly arranged, all that things. Okay, that's the plan for the upcoming session. But for now, I think we have covered the fundamentals, almost everything. Okay, yeah. And whenever we step into the LWC code, if there is a need to refresh the JavaScript concept, we will do that. Okay, because for this one, you need to know how to loop through the data. You need to know how to preserve the list of records that you get from the Salesforce into JavaScript variables. Okay, so that time we will learn about arrays, obs in Salesforce. Okay, yeah, that's the plan for the upcoming session. So my throat is going really bad. Okay, I'll take questions now. So we have a lot of questions put across, isn't it? Yeah. Did we document this? And whatever I am doing, the code, uh, everything, right? I'll certainly share this. But it's the property binding, event binding. We did also talk about SLDS, right? Which is Salesforce owned CSS framework, correct? So basically, the entire Salesforce ecosystem is powered, right, with this CSS framework, default CSS framework used in LWC. Okay, there was an interesting, implementation that came across in one of our, we came across in one of our customer projects. Even though Salesforce gives this SLDS, right, the customer wanted to use Bootstrap. Okay, so we had we had to override this SLDS. Okay, it's not complex, but certainly you have to write a bit of code to accomplish that. So don't worry if you ever run into a situation where you want to change that CSS framework from SLDS to something else, you can certainly do that. Okay, we need to deal with static resources, download that CSS framework to Salesforce, and then refer that back. Okay, it is also possible. Yeah, but by default, SLDS is the default one. We can tweak it. Okay, we can tweak it according to our own customer branding. Okay, that's the benefit of it. I'll pick up a use case and then show you how to tweak this as well. Yeah, because sometimes, right, think about it. If the lighting web component that we have built, correct, let's say if this the Salesforce app is going to be used by ICICI.com, for them orange is the brand color, correct? So everywhere orange. I can't put a blue or any other, default Salesforce color, correct? How do I tweak it? We can do that. We can tweak our SLDS CSS and then make, everywhere orange. Okay, that is also possible. Okay, so all such things are possible. With that, let's take questions. Where did we stop? Okay, this is for last one. Okay, next Sunday, I have a news API. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, how do we deploy LWC code to Git? Okay, I'll do it right away, Lavanya. Sonali did ask for this, right? So now my code is right here, isn't it? Yeah, it's in my local, correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this code to my GitHub. Okay, so for that purpose, before I do that, what I need is I need two things. Okay, so the first thing is I need git install in my browser, in my machine. Okay, so if you go to git, okay, install git. Okay, and have a GitHub account. It's completely free GitHub account for personal use. Okay, so you can go here, download based on your OS. Once this is done, okay, install it in your machine. Once it is installed, go to your terminal, whatever it is, PowerShell or Windows, everything. Look for git hyphen hyphen version. If you see an output, then you can be certain that git is installed in your machine. Number one. Okay, I will close this because git is installed. I close this. Then you have to go to GitHub. This is a online platform, correct? Online platform. What you need is you need an account. Okay, so when you go to github.com, I use incognito window just to show you the login page. You will be asked to sign in or sign up. All you can do is just sign up first if you don't have an account. Okay, just enter the email address. You will get a one-time password. That's it. Your account is ready. Okay, for free. Yeah. So right here, you can create repositories, nothing but folders. Okay, to keep your files. Yeah. So I already have an account. Okay, this is my account, share and shine. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my VS Code, and in VS Code you have an extension called source control or git source control. Okay, if you don't find it, you will find it because by default VS Code is shipped with this extension. Okay, if you don't find it, no worries, go to extensions, look for git. Okay, yeah, you will find a lot of lot of extensions. Okay, yeah, and for some reason it is little slow. Okay, so you can just pick one extension from here, but don't worry, you will not this won't be required because VS Code automatically comes with this one. Okay, so when you click, you have an option initialize or publish in GitHub. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell git saying that, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you ensure this code is ready to get uploaded in GitHub? Because GitHub is a online platform, correct? From my local, I need to move the code to here, right? So I'll say initialize repository. So now what happens is behind the scenes, the Git that we installed, right, will say that, okay, Rajesh, I'm ready. I'm going to, get all the files tracked now, and I'll keep all the files ready to get moved to the online platform GitHub. Okay, so that's why you see you unchanged. Okay, I'll say that initial code move to GitHub. That's the message. I'll say commit. Yes, I'll just say stage all the changes. Done. Now nothing is appearing right here, correct? So now what I can do is I can click on publish branch. Okay, so if you're doing it for the very first time, what happens is it will open up a page for you, a login page, where you have to enter the GitHub username and password one time, just one time. Okay, yeah. In my case, I have already I have already connected to GitHub, so it won't ask me the login. It won't take me to the login page, so I can simply click on publish branch. Okay, so this time it says that, Rajesh, what would you like to call the branch name? I'll say May 2020 training. Okay, so before I do that, I'll go to my GitHub account. Okay, I'll search in my repository. Again, repository is nothing but folder. Okay, so May 2024, I don't find any, isn't it? There is no repository that keeps all the files, right? So I will remove this, come back to my VS code. So I'll make this repository as, I can make it public or private. I'll make it a public so anybody can access my code. Click here. So something is happening behind the scenes, right? So my VS code is pushing all the files to the GitHub account. Okay. So perfect, it is done. It says open on GitHub, right? What I'll do is I'll refresh this page. Now I'll search for the repository. You can just see this, right? May 2024, it's there. And this contains the entire code that we worked on today. This entire code. If I go to this force main default, if you go to LWC, it will have allowable, it will have the opportunity close date counter. Everything you will find it right here. You can right away start, getting the code to your local and then do it. Okay, and this is a public, you know this is a public, repository. I'll give you that as well, so you can also anytime try this. Okay, so this is how easy it is to work with Git and GitHub. Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Rajesh. And
No, yeah.
one more question. So
Yeah.
once we move all the code to the Git, from Git to we want to deploy it to production site, right? So does it happen automatically or
No,
do
no, 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 no. Everything we have to configure. Everything we have to instruct. Okay, that
okay,
is there are multiple ways to do it, Lavanya. So
okay,
some projects use Copado, AutoRabbit, some tools to take the code directly from. They will say, hey, this is the GitHub URL. This is where all the code is. Take it and then deploy. So the tool will do it for you.
okay,
Otherwise, you will use SFTX commands. You can create, if you don't have money to invest in tool, you can use GitHub functions. There is a concept called GitHub functions. Along with GitHub functions, you will use Salesforce SFTX commands to do the deployment. Okay, so there are multiple ways, but to your question, you have to you have to configure, you have to implement the deployment steps. It's not going to automatically get deployed. Okay.
okay. So in the real time, most companies use this Copado, right?
Say that again, ma.
In the real time, most of the companies use Copado, right?
If you have enough money, yes, because Copado AutoRabbit, both are paid products. It's an app exchange product. Yes, I have seen a lot of customers using Copado. Very easy. You know, you just say, hey, this is where the code is. These are the files to be deployed. Click, 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 deploy. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you have a DevOps team, they don't allow you to do that. As in,
Yeah.
they will write scripts. They will do it. Okay. Yeah. But
Okay.
yes, a lot of customers use Copado.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Uh, Melagu, Melagu.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Git is done. Lavanya's question is answered. What if we now use
Hi
custom icon?
Rajesh.
Oh yeah, go on, please. Is there a question?
Yeah. Hi Rajesh. Tell me about some SFDX commands which are mostly useful for
SFTS
developers.
commands that are mostly useful, right? Okay. You know what? Who asked this question? It was Sonali or somebody else?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
I'm
Sonali.
sorry.
There are a lot of commands, Sonali, honestly. So you can able to use SFTX commands to create a class, to create a Lightning Web component, to create an object, to create a SOQL query. You know, you can have SFTX commands to deploy as well. Okay, so that itself requires some additional training. Okay. Um, what I'll do is I will share certain documentations. Okay. Yeah, I have
Yes.
my
Yes.
own. Maybe I think in my channel, YouTube channel, there are certain. Let me see. I started, but I don't know how far I kept SFTX updated. Um, for beginners, I started, adding some videos. Um, where is the playlist? This is playlist. Integration related. This is not one. This is flow. Okay, I think I only have four videos in SFTX, but uh, uh, I'll give few more additional documentation so to get started with SFTX. Okay, so if you dedicate 2 weeks of your time, trust me, you will be comfortable with SFTX. Okay, yeah. So you
Yes.
can watch these four videos later, but there are much more good materials available. I will share it. I'll make a note of it, and before our end of the training, right, I will share the details. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Because every interview asks about SFDX commands and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's what.
yeah. Because nobody is willing to spend money to buy Copado or AutoRabbit. That's
Okay.
why they need people who knows SFDX so that the deployment is taken care of. Okay, you can
Yes.
write
Thank
commands to
you.
do the deployment. You know what? And this is for everybody. Okay, whatever we do right through this command palette, create Lightning Web Component, authorized, right? So behind the scenes, the VS Code is actually executing SFTX commands that is getting masked here, okay, because of this extension, because not everybody is fond of using commands. Remember the commands, right? That is the reason Salesforce has built this extension so that you can choose from the UI and behind the scenes the command gets executed. Okay, if you don't have this extension, if you want to write your own commands for deployment, etc., right, you should have this SFTX knowledge. Okay, and maybe that's the reason Sonali, she's being tested against this SFTX commands. Okay, anyways, I'll give the documentation Sonali for that. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
yeah, that's correct. Lavanya, thank you so much, Madan Raj. Custom icon, yes, Aman, we can do that. So you have to use static resources for it. Okay, you have to download that icon to your org. Okay, and then start referring that as a link. Okay, in your code. Okay, you can do that. Or if you have a public icon, you can just use the URL as well. Okay, but I would recommend downloading the icon to avoid the copyright issues. Okay, yeah. Yes, Aman, it is possible. We will do that next week. Okay, I'll show you how to alter the alter this SLDS, SLDS code. Okay, so that you can customize the button size, bring your own color. Okay, we can do that kind of things. Is it possible to use React and other JavaScript ones? Yes, but not straightforward. Okay, yeah, uh, not really straightforward. Again, we have to get that React code, everything. Okay, add it as a JavaScript as a static resource file, and then start referring that in your code. But it's not very straightforward. Trust me. Okay, we tried once with for Angular. Okay, ran into issues. We made it but it's not simple. Okay, unless there is absolutely a need to bring other framework components. Okay, then we wouldn't go with this. If it is a plain web component, Okay, the one that we created, right? Say something. Where is it? This one. This is a plain JavaScript component. Right? It does not have any flavors from other frameworks. Then it is very simple to use it. I can just simply add this JavaScript file into my static resource in the OR and then use that as a file in my JavaScript. That is possible. Okay, yeah, because when you use React or Angular, right, there will be some flavors from React and Angular. They have their own Java, they have their own customized JavaScript functions. So unless you have that functions referred in JavaScript code, right, your code won't work. Okay, that kind of challenges you will encounter. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Sagar. Please share all the documentation. I will for sure. Trust me. Okay, we are keep building the documents, right? So towards the end of the training, it will be shared. Okay. Which commands are useful? Again, Sonali, as I said, right? I will share SFTX and also Git once. Okay. We have used, but when we can see, no, it will be available, Venkat. Let's cross check. Let's see whether it's there or not. Okay. Where is our code? Um, where is it? Where is the page? Where is the page? LWC playground, right here it is. This is one, right? Let's right click and then inspect and then go to that file and then see. Sources. When you are in sources, search for the JavaScript file. The name is what is it? Opportunity, right? Hi. Opportunity. Was it closed date counter? What is the name? Opportunity closed date counter. Yeah, this is the one. Select this one. Of course, there are a lot of Salesforce added code, but where is our code? You can just see this constructor. You can see the connected callback, everything, right? So it's there. Okay, when you do inspect and console, it is there. Okay, yeah. So I'll go back now. Uh, Copilot validate the code like way change set validate. It does, in fact, it looks for dependencies, Srivas. Okay, it has that functionality. Okay, if it fails, if it doesn't have the dependency, it will certainly uh, fail that fail the deployment. Yeah, it has all these functionalities available. Auto rabbit as well, has the functionality. Yes. Okay, so perfect. I think I did answer all the queries. If I have left any questions, um, any queries, right, just let me know. We will use, please hold on, because we just covered the fundamentals. Now we will be picking up use case show tools. I was just telling, right, not to show the system messages, error message to the user. Instead, show is nice way. So that time we will use show notes. Okay, yeah. So for now, I think um, I will share this mind map. Okay, so that you can copy this. I'll make it as view only so that accidentally nobody edits this. Okay. I'll put it in the chat window so you can bookmark this as well. Okay. The deck. Anyways, I will be updating more notes right here. Okay. So we'll just wait for two more sessions and then share this across. Okay. So with that, I will let you guys go. I'll also go and then give some rest to my throat. Okay. I will see you guys next week. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Just keep practicing and come back with more questions. Okay. And then if you want any specific topics to be discussed, I'll be available in LinkedIn. Just put a message. I'll see if I can able to include that in my in my next session. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.